Chance, so you went pretty hard Friday? Yeah. Okay. It's really up to you.
I had my camp all weekend. I was going to have 12 hours this weekend.
Okay. Well, good. This practice, it's not a barn burner. It's more focusing on some areas and just feeling. Any questions? All right. Play basketball? Yeah, sure, man. You guys want to play basketball? Let's go 10 minutes.
The basketball skill level is, it's unbelievable. We're terrible. And by we, I mean definitely me. I'm not good at all.
It's actually comical, you know?
Sometimes we act like we're running backs and we run it down the mat instead of dribbling, you know, whatever works. The Fine Silver brothers, they definitely came from Duke. They got a little basketball in the background, you can see it. Me, not so much. Like, I don't think Lockhaven is known for their basketball, so I just didn't get it. First off, just, you know, when people see that, sometimes I think people think at this high level of wrestling, like, we forget, like, it's supposed to be fun. We didn't get here because we don't love it, so I think it's more about, like, hey, let's get warm, let's make sure we're enjoying the day and getting after it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna get pitched. When my head goes down and my back rolls, I'm gonna get pitched. This dude knows what he's doing, I'm in trouble. So and I'm not gonna put my head, move my head up through his body. I'm gonna let my body go down to bring my head up, okay? So it's really kind of a misnomer to say your head's coming up. It's taking your body and shifting it below your head, okay? Let's mess around with it. 1, 2. Yeah, at the beginning of 2022, you know, Chance was interested in coming here as an athlete, so we took him on in the middle of 2022. Man, I just saw that his wrestling was getting better. You know, I saw it improving. You have to attribute that to the fact that he was doing well. Those two don't mix. Hard to disguise it.
Like, there's a few things I need to make a jump. I need to hit an international tournament. I need to know what's going on around the world. Like, I need to know I'm there. I went over to Turkey for the Yasar Dogu. Not only was it my first international tournament in a long time, it was a ranking event. I make the finals. In making the finals, I beat the Asian champ, I beat a past world champ, world runner-up, in Sabalov. I think I needed people to believe in me as much as I believed in me, right? And I needed something to show them. And I think that's kind of what Yasar Dogu did for me. Make the finals against JB and lose JB for the second time in my career there. That was really, I think, like what I needed to make that next jump. You know, once I kind of made that jump, I felt like that's really where like my career was finally back in like full bore. So we get out the world team trials, and I had two coaches basically between Kendall and Reese for my corner.
My thoughts were that I wanted him to qualify for Final X.
I thought Chance was the #1 guy to get to Final X.
He's good enough at that point, really, to beat anybody. You know, he's good enough to beat anybody.
I felt like I walked into the tournament with a chip on my shoulder going into the World Team Trials in 2022.
Marsteller's been looking really good of late. Strachey, of course, won his second NCAA title this March.
I wrestled Carter, Strachey first round. Guys beat me before. I think a lot of people expected at first for him to win that one. I get to go ahead, take down the win with short time left and completely like split my head open.
Oh my gosh, look at Chance's face. What happened?
I had this nasty scar with like 10 stitches in it that I wrestled with the rest of the tournament. I go on to get redemption against McFadden in the semis.
Shot, and that's gonna basically do it. Marsteller's gonna hang on here in this front headlock, and Marsteller moves into the championship finals.
All right. Now, if you're Marsteller, you're seconds away from Final X.
In the finals, you know, I beat Vincenzo.
Oh my gracious! That's an exclamation point for Chance Marsteller.
Wow!
I'm starting to cement myself, like where I need to be, where I always needed to be. Like this should have been happening a while ago.
Chance Marsteller in Final X.
That day of winning that World Team Trials, it was on the same day I wrecked both those cars at the height of my addiction. When I wrecked those cars, I felt like it was the beginning of the end, and when I won World Team Trials, I felt like it was like the start of a new. And that was kind of my coming out party. That's when I let people know about using fentanyl. And
I'm coming up on 2 years exact soon. I was an opioid addict. I was addicted to fentanyl, and staying away from that and making sure my wife and kids have somebody that they can look up to, when they say dad, or when she calls me her husband, that shit's important to me.
Getting through the World Team Trials and winning it, what it did was it set up a best-of-3 match series with Jordan Burroughs.
Representing Sunkist Kids and NJRTC, Jordan Burroughs!
Jordan Burroughs, one of the greatest that we've ever had in our sport, coming off of a world title at a new weight class, 79 kilos, and that being the world title that plummeted him into superstardom in our sport, surpassing John Smith as the winningest wrestler of all time, 7 world and Olympic titles. That was who he was up against. The biggest icon in our sport.
His opponent in blue, representing the NYRTC and Tight Mercury Wrestling Club, Chance Marsteller!
I knew in order to get where I needed to get to in my career, I was going to have to beat Jordan.
Did I believe Chance could beat Jordan Burroughs? I thought he was good enough.
We were really hoping to win, but I don't know if I truly believed that he was going to beat him 2 out of 3. That's a tough task.
I felt like that hunter again, like when I was a kid, hunting kids down.
Here we go, 79 kilos, Jordan Burroughs in the red, Chance Marsteller in the blue. We know what Jordan Burroughs has done. Lots of world and Olympic titles.
Going into this, we're going into a best-of-3, so no matter what, there's going to be 2 matches.
Marsteller wrestling better than ever. Now he's got his eyes set on the king.
I had this mindset going in there I'm going to keep tracking you down until I get you.
Jordan Burroughs, an amazing hand fighter, times the hands perfectly, runs his feet on this double, and he's going to get 2 after the step out. 3-0 JB.
In the first match with Burroughs at Final X, Chance really he didn't get into his game plan.
That's going to do it. Match number 1 in the books. Jordan Burroughs, 1 away from making his 11th World Olympic team mater.
There was a certain way that we wanted to wrestle him. He just didn't fall into it. In the second match, the discussion between rounds was, look, dude, just get into where you need to be. Stay in his face, cover ground. He doesn't like to be tight. He wants space.
Let's go, Chance!
And so you've got to fill that space. Just fill it and stay focused on that one thing particularly.
Underway, 79 kilograms, Chance Marsteller in the red, taking on Jordan Burroughs in the blue.
Chance staying low, trying to move forward here early in this bout.
Work it out in your mind what, technically and tactically what you want to do, and that will allow you to beat Jordan Burroughs. And then play it over and over again in your head, and let that resonate. And then you'll start believing that you can. That was my advice to him, was give yourself a chance.
I remember being in match 2, getting close to winning. The clock's starting to tick down. We're getting towards 90 seconds left in the match, and I remember looking at the clock, and I'm like, I'm winning. It's time to figure this thing out. I know I can do this now. Take a deep breath, readjust your mental state. I know I can do this in this moment.
In the second match, almost to perfection, did he keep pressure on Jordan. And it had a lot to do with why he won the match.
We're going to have a 3rd match in Marsteller Burroughs.
Wow. Chance Marsteller executes a game plan masterfully.
We closed that one down, and then in between match 2 and 3, Chance was so happy. He was so happy. I kept having to remind him that you have to wrestle again, and you need to beat this dude.
Let's go, Chance! You can fucking do this!
You know, when we go into match 3, and he's great at game planning, and he changes his tactics up, and Jordan said it best in his interview at FloWrestling 2022, you know, again, experience, he's been there before. In order to do it twice against him, like, they gotta figure out how to go do it again, like, they gotta replicate. Whereas I've been here plenty of times, you know, the odds were on his side.
5-0, and what a clutch takedown that is.
Perhaps that match was too much for Chance to go back out and stay focused again on what he needed to do. You know, it's Jordan Burroughs. You know, he can take you out of your game, and he did. And he did it convincingly.
The third match wasn't close, though. I just think he was a little satisfied to beat Jordan Burroughs once.
Bound for Serbia, Jordan Burroughs!
Jordan, through the years, what have you learned about match 3 situations that help you?
No one can beat me in match 3. I was prepared for a third match. Anytime someone beats me, especially in a series, it is mentally overwhelming for them. It's a mental drain, and they have to re-prepare to try to do it twice in a row.
It was a little demoralizing to me, like, man, I felt like I fought tooth and nail, chased him down, he was so hard to get to his legs, and that experience had paid off. He'd been there before, he knew what to expect going into match 3, he knew how to reset his head, reset his mind, and do it again. I remember being ticked off myself more so because I felt like I put so much time and effort into it. I gave max effort and didn't get it done. When you do that, though, it gives you two things. It pisses you off like nothing ever could before. But at the same time, like, walking off that mat, knowing I gave max effort and lost, I knew I could figure it out. Because again, one, I did figure it out at least once. I know I can do it now. I know I can beat him. I did it. Two, that whole thing that happened in 2019 at the Olympic Trial US Open, where I was changing my goals to meet my actions, not my actions to meet my goals, that was no longer a thing, right? I constantly give max effort, and I can live with giving max effort. I can live and go home and fight another day with knowing I did whatever I could that day. I don't have to live with regret for losing that match like I have to live with the regret from Texas in 19. That's the kind of stuff that was able to carry me off the mat. Like, yeah, I'm ticked. I was definitely outbested today. There's nothing to it.
How you're progressing, and where you are in your progression, you know, you're scratching the surface, man. You can get so much better. It was good information going forward. After that 3-match series with Jordan Burroughs, Chance believed that he could beat him, because he did. You know, and then it was a factor of being able to do it twice.
You were early? You walked in 3 minutes late.
Oh, I did.
I would say the turning point that I saw was probably Final X. He was going in there, kind of let it fly, let's see where he's at, and then the moment he wins that match, now he's like, whoa, I can be a world champ.
That rematch was just burned in my brain. It's no longer about making the team. It's about this dude's in my way of winning a world title, and that was the goal that I wrote down when I was a little kid, was win a world title. But in order to do it, I know we're gonna have to go through this again. But the little kid Chance is back.
2023, the whole season, Jordan Burroughs was the focus all day, every day. It was always, how do we beat Jordan Burroughs?
Nice.
After 2022 and going into 2023, I know personally, because he's mentioned it, it's like, you know, Jordan Burroughs was always on his mind.
2023 was also the first full year where he was training with Kendall Cross and with Reese Humphrey at NJRTC, New Jersey RTC.
My coaches and I always, we're devising a game plan, been working on things for like over the past year.
We all know how Jordan wrestles, but he's always coming up with something new. We were just trying to game plan for him. We were trying to do the things he does. Go one at a time, yeah.
He was really committing the time and that mindset of training for something specific. Training for the opportunity to beat Jordan Burroughs to represent the United States at the World Championships became just something that was ingrained in his mind.
Yeah, hey, look, don't back up. Don't back up. Go forward and arch your back.
Jordan, through the years, what have you learned about match 3 situations that help you?
No one can beat me in match 3.
What he talks a lot about, people don't know how to do it twice. People don't know how to beat me twice.
Anytime someone beats me, especially in a series, it is mentally overwhelming for them.
I took that personally when he said I don't know how, because there's not many things in wrestling I don't know how to do.
Chance Marsteller beat him in a match, and then he went on to win a world title. How good can Chance Marsteller be if we continue this path of sobriety and continue this path of training as a senior athlete?
It was improbable that he was going to beat the addiction, how low he was, right? He beat that. It was improbable he was going to get back in the sport of wrestling. He did that. It was improbable he was going to beat Jordan Burroughs, and he did that. I mean, he's just a scary guy when he gets motivated and focused.
Anybody who takes a match from a guy like Jordan, even if it's one, gives you confidence in what you're going to do the rest of your career. I think I tell my high school the same thing, like sometimes they wrestle ranked kids, and my guys are good enough to be ranked, but they just can't beat a kid who's ranked.
How do you think I'm moving forward from that wall?
But as soon as they get that one, the dominoes fall in place, right?
It literally took the whole year to get the game plan set, and Chance believed it more than anybody that he was going to win. You couldn't tell him he was going to lose to Jordan.